Hey, hi, me, Kirby, and today we'll be reviewing SpongeBob Season 2. Now the thing is, I meant to finish this last week. I meant to do it over the week and then maybe some in the weekend, but I forgot to do it. And now I'm finally done and I can finally review it. So let's go. Episode 21A, Your Shoes Untied. SpongeBob forgets how to tie his shoes. Now let me mention something. Now I'm gonna have the airing order along with the season and episode number in the corner. As you can see, right here is what day it aired on. Here is on which order this was aired on. And this is the season and episode number. Anyway, fun fact, SpongeBob has had his shoes since he was created. I can't really say born because they never showed him born. I forgot to mention, now I have a new term that I made up. Low dark. So the opposite of high is low, right? And the opposite of light is dark. So therefore, low dark would be the opposite of highlight. Anyway, my favorite part is just Patrick buying shoes. Why does he even need shoes anyway? My favorite part, though, is SpongeBob falling over. That gag went on for way too long. However, does this episode go on for way too long? Or has it ties its shoes? Well, it's a great episode, I'll give you that. Episode 21B, Squid's Day Off. Squidward gets put in charge. Fun fact, I saw a creepy YouTube poop on this. I guess I really do watch YouTube poops. Seriously, it was creepy. Anyway, my favorite part is Squidward's running sequence. Oh wait, I forgot to mention the quote in the last one. I got these shoes, Patrick. Anyway, have you finished those errands, SpongeBob? Huh. My least favorite part, though, is Freaky Face Squidward. I didn't really like it that much. That doesn't ruin this great episode, though. It's a pretty enjoyable experience through and through. Episode 22A, Something Smells. SpongeBob gets bad breath. Fun fact, there is an audio glitch on the CD. There's a part where it says, SpongeBob says, I just don't get it. Me neither. Patrick was the one that said that. Me neither. But yeah. Anyway, my favorite part is the ugly barnacle story. Who could forget it? My least favorite part though was Patrick calling SpongeBob ugly. That went on for way too long. Anyway, I have the ugly barnacle story as the quote. There once was an ugly barnacle. He was so ugly that everyone died. The end. This is a pretty great episode, though. I really did like everything in it. And I do like the whole ugly barnacle. Episode 22B, Bossy Boots. Pearl runs to Krusty Krab. Fun fact, this is Pearl's actually third appearance. I forgot about her first appearance in Squeaky Boots. Anyway, my favorite part was the horrifying names that SpongeBob came up with it. Wait, did I do Lowdown? I accidentally wrote Lowdown for that. Anyway, yeah, like the creepy crab. The killer crab! And Pearl even sounds like she was creeped out. Anyway, my least favorite part is Squidward's torture. Why does he deserve to be tortured like this? What did he do wrong? Whoops, I accidentally hit the space bar, but it's a pretty great episode. Yeah, I do like it, and it is a nice showcase of how Pearl is in the face of power, and how she can make people feel. Oh, come on! Just like last time, there was one of these. In episode 23A, Big Pink Loser. Patrick acts like Spongebob. Fun fact, this is the second time that Patrick got hired. The first one was an ARG. He got fired right after, but he got hired. My least favorite part, or low dark, is Patrick chopping himself. I like Patrick chopping himself with a jump rope. I didn't really find that funny. Anyway, my favorite part though was Patrick repeating SpongeBob, especially the I always I'm safe inside my mind. The quote is, of course, I wanted a award. The quote in the last one was the killer crab. Anyway, so this adds up. However, nothing really. Patrick chopping himself only happened for like 5 seconds, so that cannot ruin this great episode. It's a pretty nice and enjoyable experience through and through. Episode 23B, Bubble Buddy. Bubble Buddy annoys people. Fun fact, Leif Erikson Day is a real day. My favorite part was the bubble money joke. And also, everyone said, pop the bubble! Anyway, my least favorite part though is Bubble Buddy. He does all of this horrible stuff.
But considering he's the main focus of the episode.
Yeah, and my brother just said something. Also, just like last time, he came in for this supposed to be about me video. Anyway, oh, don't worry, you can watch. Anyway, this, however, does have a lot of problems. Bubble Buddy is a complete jerk, and he doesn't get any sort of punishment in the end, so if anything, he was good. Which then brings this episode down to a bad episode. It's only bad, though, because it could have done much worse.
Also, this is the first bad episode.
Yeah, this is the first bad episode in general. Episode 24A, Dying for Pie. Squidward gives SpongeBob a dangerous pie. Fun fact, Squidward is dumb. My favorite part is Mr. Krabs saying he's seen this before. He has till sunset until it blows him up. Yeah, the quote was something like that. I don't think it was exactly that. My least favorite part, though, is Squidward torture. Like, does Squidward really have to go through all of this torture for getting a pie that's a bomb that he didn't even know about? I mean, he's trying to make up for it, so it's just kind of sad.
This was released around Christmas.
However, it is a pretty great episode. And a nice showcase of how Squidward can really care about SpongeBob. Episode 24B, Imitation Krabs. Plankton disguises as Mr. Krabs. Fun fact, there will be more of this plot in Season 7. A lot more. Like 3 whole episodes. The last one I actually really like. Yeah, Showback my favorite part is Robo Krabs as a character. He is a pretty nice villain. A pretty interesting one.
And you know that he's
Yeah.
so obvious that he's a fake.
Oh, Bikini Bottom, we pledge our heart to you, is something. And anyway, nothing in here mentions that. Oh, wait, my bad. Never mind. My low down is SpongeBob. It wasn't really that. It wasn't really that entertaining, I guess. There's just something about him that I didn't really care about. It is a pretty great episode and a great show off of how Plankton is when he disguises as someone else. Because it is a pretty good plot line. So 25A, Wormy. SpongeBob takes care of a worm. Fun fact, Patrick was taken out of the description. Yeah, sometimes I'm dry on fun facts, so I have to just make up one. My favorite part was the butterfly. I did really like how the butterfly was. My least favorite part, however, was the weigh-in. And SpongeBob's like, first Wormy, then Squidward, and Mr. Krabs. Yeah, it's funny how we just had the sock puppets. However, this episode is bland. I mean, there isn't really a lot of substance in this episode,
Get it done. More stuff.
which really just drags it down to an okay. If it had a little more, like, comedy or something, then I could see it being at least a good. As it stands, it's just okay. Episode 25B, Patty Hype. SpongeBob makes new patties. Fun fact, the patties are painted. Not tainted meat, painted meat.
Still
My favorite part was the moral that dreams do come true. Yeah. My least favorite part is Mr. Krabs. However, he does kind of get what he deserves in the end, so it does kind of balance out. And this episode is actually pretty great. Like, all of these pretty patties, they're actually a pretty neat idea for an episode. So I gotta praise them for having a great idea.
say it does editing the Krabby Patty better than a recent episode.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
yeah, it does do that better. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut you out of it. Episode 26A, Grandma's Kisses. SpongeBob tries to be mature for his grandmother. Fun fact, SpongeBob loves his grandmother.
Hey, have you explained what the low dark meant yet?
What?
Have you explained what the low dark means yet?
What? Yes, I have. My favorite part is the talk from SpongeBob's grandmother. The low dark, though, is the people. They are complete jerks. Which really adds up for one terrible episode. Why would you make the people so unlikable? So I guess people really can be jerks. It's episode 26B, Squidville. Squidward moves out. In fact, this is the second time Squidward has tried to move out. The first one was in a certain other episode. My favorite part is Squidward being happy in his new town. It was pretty nice to see Squidward actually get to move out. My least favorite part is Squidward going crazy. Okay, yeah, I do not remember anything like that.
Yeah, it was when he had the reef blow.
Yeah. Like, my least favorite part was when he started using the reef blower, like he went crazy. But that is not really, like, that doesn't really drag down this otherwise pretty great episode. It's very nice to see. This is why Squidward doesn't move out. Because if he does, then it's boring.
And it does a much better job than Opposite Day.
Right. Like, it does a much better job with the Squidward moving out formula than Opposite Day. Episode 27A, Pre-Hibernation Week. SpongeBob is kind to Sandy to help for hibernation. Fun fact, the industrial park returned in SpongeBob the Yellow Avenger.
Yeah, if you don't...
You probably know that I made a review on it. My favorite part is the places they will go. The places they went. The hay and the needle stack, though, was pretty... Like, that was pretty violent, and I didn't find that funny.
Or Sandy doesn't...
My least favorite part was Sandy torturing SpongeBob. And of course, SpongeBob has to get caught in the end. Yeah, that's... If there's anything I didn't like, it was that.
I thought it was funny when the guy was like, here's SpongeBob. SpongeBob square forms it into a square. I'm ready.
And that one is actually very funny. Like, he breaks that guy into a square, then he starts saying, I'm ready, I'm ready. However, it's only a good episode because, Well, to be honest, besides those traits, it doesn't really have a lot to offer. However, I can't really say it's mediocre because it does still have a lot of stuff I like. It's just not enough for me to consider it a great. That's why I have the good rating. Episode 27B, Life of Crime. SpongeBob thinks he stole a balloon. In fact, this is the second time I left Patrick out of the description. My favorite part is the logic joke. If we're underwater, how could there be a fire?
I don't even know if he says.
My least favorite part is Patrick's role.
Like when he said,
Like,
the chocolate joke. I just do not like the chocolate joke.
like seriously, why? Yeah, the whole thing with who stole my chocolate, I didn't really like it. It just felt like 2 minutes of complete filler. That doesn't really fault this otherwise pretty great episode, though. It is a pretty nice experience through and through. Episode 28, SpongeBob, Christmas who? SpongeBob learns about Christmas. Fun fact, this is the first half-hour special of SpongeBob, which is definitely true. I don't know why I said it like that. My favorite part is the speech about Santa. It doesn't look like Sandy's talking about Santa. It looks like she's gone crazy. My least favorite part is Squidward giving away his stuff. That second half was just bland. It's Christmas and friend from Texas. SpongeBob was a pretty nice quote. That was pretty funny. And now, time to go to the next part. Episode 28P. Patchy who? Patchy celebrates Christmas. In fact, this is the first episode of Patchy. Now, as you can see, I made this part have it. Oops, I forgot to change it back to red after I copied all of the images. My least favorite part is Potty's torture. Like, did he really deserve any of the torture? My favorite part, though, is the concept of Patchy trying to celebrate Christmas. And the narrator really said name and address withheld, not name and address without. Now, this episode overall, would we consider it this episode overall, would I consider it pretty terrible or pretty great? Is it as great as Christmas cheer or as bad as Squidward is? Well, Squidward's not really that bad anyway. It's a pretty great episode and a nice showcase of Christmas. It really captures Christmas. Episode 29A, Survival of the Idiots. SpongeBob and Patrick get stuck in Sandy's tree dome. Fun fact, it was winter in this episode.
Which is possibly the sequel to Pre-Hibernation Week.
That's actually pretty true. This could be the sequel to Pre-Hibernation Week. My favorite part was the Dirty Dad joke. I'm Dirty Dad. I'm Dirty Dad. My least favorite part, though, is the ending, where they have to cover Sandy. I didn't really like that much. But Patrick said, I just want to be Patrick. It's pretty funny. You could be Dirty Dad. I just want to be Patrick.
And when they were ripping the fur off, it was kind of funny. And
Yeah.
not like as soon as they got the fur, and then the winter ended.
Right. That was pretty funny. And to say, this episode is actually a pretty funny episode. So yeah, this is a pretty great episode. And it's a nice way to showcase how it'd be if it was winter and Sandy had to hibernate. It's also funny because this isn't the first time that it was winter inside of Sandy's tree dome. No, Bubble Buddy was that. Anyway, episode 29B, Dumped. Gary ditches SpongeBob. Now, this one is actually very interesting because if you remember, I've already talked about this episode on my worst episodes of good cartoons.
Yeah.
Now, I have changed my opinion a little bit on it. Like, I don't think it's the worst of pre-movie SpongeBob, but I do still hate it more than I'm With Stupid. Mainly because this one doesn't have any funny jokes.
And Patrick doesn't have an excuse for what he's
Yeah,
doing.
like in I'm With Stupid, his parents were the one that made a joke personally targeted towards SpongeBob
And then Patrick
and not how dumb he is.
And then Patrick just went along with it.
Yeah, so he had an excuse. Anyway,
So he just
my favorite part was Gary coming back in the end. My least favorite part, though, is Patrick. He is not a funny character. He's just mean. And I really don't like just how depressing this episode is. See, what are you on about? Have you seen the snail in season 4? This one is just depressing.
Have you seen the snail? I never really minded.
Yeah, I never really minded Have You Seen the Snail. It was a pretty...
One is literally Gary leaves Patrick.
Like-
SpongeBob tries half the episode to fill in the gap. Half the episode trying to get Gary back. My favorite quote is
That's not supposed to be the favorite quote. It's just supposed to be a quote from the episode. Anyway, this is the worst of season 2. And I really wish that people would talk about this a little more. And look, I changed it up. Instead of the jellyfish zapping Patrick, I changed it to Patrick zapping the jellyfish back. That's a pretty clever thing to do. Anyway, episode 38. No free rides. Mrs. Puff passes SpongeBob. To find out how bad it is. I don't think that would have fit in the description if I did all of that. But in fact, there's a picture that copies what Mrs. Puff does in her house.
Yeah.
Like, once she enters surprised, you can notice a picture of her entering surprised.
You know we should have?
Yeah.
We should have a counter of
My
times Mrs.
favorite
Puff is
part,
arrested.
the fourth wall break, where they hit the narrator as he was speaking. My least favorite part, though, is Mrs. Puff being arrested. Why did she need to be arrested at the end of this? What did she do wrong to deserve it? Anyway, however, that doesn't fault this episode at all.
Are you gonna
It's a great episode.
jokes while
And-
she was at the back? The
The-
Pointy Rocks, cheese graters, and
Oh yeah, the educational television thing. Cheese graters.
nothing can stop
Not even educational television. That's a pretty funny jab at educational programming.
and how
So yeah,
adults.
it's a pretty great episode. Episode 30B. I'm your biggest fanatic. SpongeBob tries to be cool for the club. Fun fact, the mascot is a sea cucumber. My favorite part is Patrick in the end. It's pretty funny how he captures Jerry the jellyfish. My favorite part, though, is part of Kevin's head being tore off. I was about to say ripped off, but I caught myself.
I didn't know this was like that. It wasn't.
Yeah.
That's why it's not funny.
Yeah, it's not funny because they cause him some serious pain.
Yeah. Even
It's kind of like the firmly grasp it joke, where when other people laugh at it, I just see pain.
Me too.
Anyway, but it's a pretty great episode. Besides that one thing, there's nothing that I really minded about it.
Even like the Queen and King jellyfish.
Yeah,
Pie joke was pretty funny.
yeah, I guess. And the whole loser thing. Anyway, episode 31A. Right made up Barnacle Boy 3. A title so big that I had to get a second spatula just for the first title. SpongeBob and Patrick free Man Ray. Fun fact, the title was too big to outfit. I already mentioned that. Favorite part was the wallet joke. I found it pretty funny. His favorite part is Man Ray laughing while talking. I didn't really find that funny. It's not that I hated it, I just didn't find it funny. My wallet. That was pretty funny. And hey, say, this is a pretty great episode. A nice turn on the Merryman Barnacle Boy episodes, I'll say. Episode 31B, Squirrel Jokes. SpongeBob insults Sandy, and so people laugh at her. In fact, this ends with a joke about starfish. My favorite part was SpongeBob laughing at himself. Yeah. His favorite part, though, is everyone being a hypocrite. Once I found out what that word means, it's about some rules apply to some people, but not to others. So, yeah. Now, SpongeBob is kind of unlikable, but I guess it is balanced out by him learning his lesson in the end. So, it's an okay episode, though, because everyone is pretty insulting to Sandy. And I don't find it funny at all.
Stupidity isn't a disease, but it's spreading like one.
Buddy. Episode 32A. Pressure. Sandy and SpongeBob argue if sea creatures or land creatures are better. Something so big that it almost didn't even fit on the screen. Fun fact, there's a game based off of the puppets. I forget what it's called, but it's something along the lines of you tap on stuff and stuff happens. My favorite part is SpongeBob getting back at Sandy. I'm more on the SpongeBob side than Sandy's in this one. My least favorite part, though, is Sandy the first time in the war, where she's all like, "Come on!" They're like, "I say I'm already halfway there," and she ends up winning, which I didn't really like. And halfway there. Pretty funny stuff. Do we have to wear pickle jars? That was funny. And say, this is a decently funny episode. It's a great one. And a nice showcase of all of this stuff. Because it is a pretty funny thing. So 22B, the smoking peanut. SpongeBob accidentally hurts a clam. Wait, I accidentally put 22 on these? Wait a minute. Oh no, I must have missed this one in editing. Anyway, SpongeBob accidentally hurts a clam. Fun fact, I named the spatula Spat. I said that because I didn't really have a fun fact for this episode. My favorite part is SpongeBob telling the cops what he did. The peanut! The Patrick! My favorite part is SpongeBob having to go through this. I didn't really like having to see SpongeBob go through. What? Okay. Anyway, so yeah. SpongeBob having to go through all this didn't really make me laugh. It just made me feel sorry for him. It's only a good episode because of those details alone. Episode 33A, SpongeBob, Shanghai. SpongeBob and Patrick get stuck on the Flying Dutchman ship. In fact, this is the first true Flying Dutchman episode. My favorite part. Actually, the first one he appeared in, not as a character, but as a reference to Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost. My favorite part is the quote. Lee. Patrick. Boo! Ah! Wee. Funny stuff. My favorite part, though, is Squidward being put back on the ship. He didn't want that. Why did he have to have that happen? Huh.
And the ending is kind of
Anyway.
funny, where they made him a vegetarian, but then the Fly Dutchman made them fruit.
That's actually pretty clever. And over on the Patchy side, so 33 AP, you wish. I couldn't really find out a description since I couldn't think of one. Like, the thing is, I've never seen this before, and I didn't even know that this episode had patchy segments at one point until I watched Pie Guy Rules' video on season 2.
So,
And fun fact, these were tweaked, then cut later on.
Yeah, every show.
My favorite part is, my least favorite part is, my favorite quote. The quote is by
The thing about this Patchy segment is that they don't show anymore when Shanghai is aired.
like, yeah, they tweaked it then cut it entirely, so I would never be able to know what happened in it.
So this goes.
And it's a pretty odd. So I don't really know why.
It has no rating.
Like, it can't really affect this, but the episode itself isn't really that interesting either. It's only good mainly because, well, there's just not a lot to it. I mean, when you really think about it, there's not a lot to the plot. Hey, it rhymed. Almost. Ah, funny.
A lot to the plot. That rhymes.
Yeah. My episode 33B. Gary takes a bath. Gary refuses to take a bath. Before I say anything about the episode, look at that air date. This aired in 2003, making this the last episode aired of this season. Anyway, fun fact, this episode was banned in the UK.
That's how bad it
was. Not because of how bad it was, but because of the whole don't drop the doubloons joke. My least favorite part is Gary. He is not likable at all.
And then he ends up on
yeah. Like, since he ends up on top, and especially has that smug smile, I could not feel happy for him winning.
And I did like how, SpongeBob didn't even count the steps to the bathroom.
Right.
How he was just, pointing the steps, and then he looked, and he said,
Yeah. This is a terrible episode, though. You see that smile right there as the image? That's the exact smile that Gary gave after SpongeBob says, yeah, I'll brush behind the ears.
His eyes were that wide.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he didn't care at all. Episode 34A, Welcome to the Chum Bucket. A title so big that the spatula didn't even fit on the screen. SpongeBob has to work at the Chum Bucket. Fun fact, Mr. Krabs is voiced by a different person in this episode. My favorite part is this song. I don't think it's the best SpongeBob song like a number of people say. I wouldn't really say it's on my top 10 SpongeBob songs. It's a pretty good song. Is it Grail? Surely so. But a guy did a top 25 SpongeBob songs and put it on number 1, and he didn't even put Never Give Up on the list.
Stupid.
And there's no excuse because he put Santa Has His Jolly Little Eyes on Me on it. Anyway, my least favorite part is SpongeBob being spoiled to the point where he's a complete jerk.
I did kind of like how he made a joke where he's like, I don't wanna. This guy's like, what was that? He's like, I'll work for no pay.
I work for free. My treat. However, this episode is great. You thought I was going to say something bad? Nah. It's a pretty great episode.
Dark doesn't really drag it out.
Yeah.
In fact, it's kind of funny.
That is kind of funny in the end. So 24B, Frankendoodle.
Oh my gosh.
SpongeBob makes a living doodle of himself. Fun fact, there is a fan game based off of this episode. My favorite part is Patrick's quote, which he says after being hit by a wrench and it lands on his lap.
Where's the
Weak, ma'am. My least favorite part is SpongeBob being erased. I didn't find that funny.
You know what another fun fact is? You
What?
keep on forgetting to put the 3.
Oh. Well, anyway. Yeah. But this is a very memorable episode. I haven't even mentioned how memorable the episodes in this season are. But this is another pretty memorable episode.
And there's a rumor that they're going to return Frank and Doodle in season 11.
Yeah. The episode hasn't aired by the time of recording this, so yeah. Maybe not time of uploading this probably because, stuff. Anyway. It's a pretty great and memorable episode. Episode 35A, The Secret Box. Patrick has a secret, and SpongeBob must know it. Fun fact, Patrick's picture could have been from Christmas Who. Like the picture could have been the one taken when Squidward was laughing at him and then took a picture of him being sad. So yeah, favorite part is SpongeBob's secret stuff. Like, my secret Gary's bowl. You know that's not secret if it belongs to someone. What?
You're speaking...
Anyway, my least favorite part is Patrick. He is a complete jerk. People like his jerkiness, but I don't. It brings it down to a very low okay. Pretty close to being a bad.
Not in my eyes.
Yeah. Again? Jeez, I was more lazy than I thought I was with those transitions. Well, episode 35B, Band Geeks. Squidward makes a band. In fact, the song was not a new song. It was recorded in 1980 something. But then got aired for it. No, not that song. Anyway, my favorite part is Patrick asking if mayonnaise is an instrument. Is mayonnaise an instrument? And Squidward was like, nah, man. No, Patrick. Mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish is not an instrument either. Like, when some of the... Like, there was a part where everyone was blowing into the drumsticks. And then they all land on Squidward and pin him to the wall. And he says, too bad that didn't kill me. That's actually a pretty dark joke.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
But everything else in this episode.
Everything else is great. And this is a very nice episode. And a pretty good showcase of all of the stuff. Like, it's a pretty nice showcase of what SpongeBob episodes could do if they're not. Like, this episode shows if the world's not against Squidward, then he could be a pretty nice guy. Episode 36A, Graveyard Shift.
Great episode.
Whoops, I forgot to put the transition. Everyone must work at the night shift with SpongeBob. In fact, there are 3 animation errors. My favorite part is Squidward using his... Well, there's one where his freckles disappeared. There's another one where apparently the letters on... Like, where apparently there was something wrong with the sign that said the item of the day, but I have no idea what it was. And there's a third one where while he was speaking, his eyes suddenly got wider than they initially were. Which was pointed out in the YouTube poop of this episode. Anyway, yeah, it's already a great episode, which was stated.
Yeah, but the only one thing I would change is just
What?
the electrician coming. Like, okay, I can't do it. This I can't. Like, okay, I can't do it. These lights, this place isn't meant to run for 24 hours.
Like, seriously, that would have been a better twist.
Who's gonna pay me?
No.
And they laugh, and then it zooms out to the island, and he says, I mean it. He's like, why are you laughing? I mean it. And then it ends.
Yeah. So 36B, Krusty Love. Mr. Krabs falls in love with Mrs. Puff. Fun fact, Mr. Puff got killed and turned into a lamp. I do not even mean that sarcastically. That literally happened. My favorite part is SpongeBob freaking out about all that happened. You can see that I made all of the things Valentine's Day colors. Anyway, it was funny when SpongeBob was like, it's not about this. Then he draws a circle, and he's like, or this. And then he draws a rectangle, and then he's like, it's all about this. And draws all over the screen. My favorite part, though, is Mr. Krabs. He keeps on conflicting about wanting the money, or wasting money, and spending more money on Mrs. Puff. I didn't really care for that. It is a pretty great episode, though, and I do like it. A pretty nice showcase of love. Episode 37A, Procrastination. SpongeBob tries to do a report, but can't. In fact, I used to be scared of this episode when I was like 5 or something. My favorite part is all of it being pointless. My favorite part, though, is a freak out sequence. It really scared me, and if I didn't like it growing up, why would I like it more now? Anyway, hey, how's my favorite snail? SpongeBob said to Gary. Yeah.
I also like when he cleaned the kitchen and it was all
yeah. Anyway, it's a pretty okay episode though, because I never really liked this episode. Like, why does SpongeBob have the freak out sequence anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, is it because he's scared?
Our house talking was pretty weird.
I didn't really like how everything seemed to not like SpongeBob.
Also like the...
Yeah.
They're just a never-ending
So yeah,
mailman.
it's an okay episode. Episode 37B, I'm with Stupid. SpongeBob acts dumb for Patrick. Now this one is the one that I had the controversial opinion of not thinking that it's the worst of pre-movie SpongeBob. Well, to be honest, Patrick doesn't start it. But look, I have an ongoing quote. Look, it's a note. Yeah, on the other side there's a letter. That's funny. Fun fact, this is the most overhated pre-movie SpongeBob episode. Mainly because people say that it's the worst. My favorite part was the note joke that was the quote joke. My favorite part was Patrick being a jerk. Why is he like that?
He
Like-
kind of has an excuse because he has the excuse that maybe he forgot. Or
Yeah.
maybe
Maybe he forgot, or maybe his parents made him think that. It's still a terrible episode though, because Patrick still isn't likable either way.
SpongeBob gets bullied by
And,
Patrick. Dude, that's the thing, Patrick's a jerk.
Yeah.
It shows the, you're bullied
Well,
on the jellyfish.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Anyway, yeah, episode 38A, Sailor Mouth. Ron Patrick learn a bad word. Fun fact, they're probably saying, Bob! My favorite part is everyone reacted to SpongeBob swearing. Like, Grabs is a, ah! I tried to make a seal noise, but I'm not good at it. My voice isn't high enough anymore. But yeah, my least favorite part is Patrick's behavior while they were playing the game. He wasn't that likable, he was just a jerk.
He's I swear, it landed on escalators, and Patrick's like, nah, he's gonna lose. Bangs the board.
And then it goes to Eels. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. And yeah, it isn't really that funny of an episode. Like, if you find SpongeBob and Patrick swearing funny, then this would be hilarious. But I guess I didn't really find it that funny. It's only a good, but that's mainly because of Patrick's behavior while playing the game. Episode 38B, Artist Unknown. Squidward tries to help SpongeBob learn. In fact, the world is hypocritical towards Squidward. My favorite part was the hands running away and then going in the can. Oh, it's funny. All the SpongeBob saying, I shall give birth to art!
You know what wasn't funny though?
What? What wasn't funny?
The load arc.
Yeah. Or the guy being a complete jerk. Does he really deserve all of that hate? His art isn't even that bad. Like, his art isn't even that bad. That's why it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And so that brings it down to an okay, because this is just another Squidward torture episode that people like for some reason.
And at the end where he
Yeah.
made a huge version of that statue that SpongeBob made, and the
I
trash
guess.
guy ends up in the...
Like, why can't Squidward be on the top? Why does the trash guy have to be? What did he do to deserve to be on top?
SpongeBob at first did things his own way, and then when Squidward wants SpongeBob to do things that way...
Anyway, episode 39A, Jellyfish Hunter. SpongeBob harms jellyfish for Mr. Krabs to make money. Fun fact, Mr. Krabs is kind of a jerk. My favorite part is the jellyfish getting back at Mr. Krabs. He definitely deserves it. My least favorite part, though, is Mr. Krabs being unfair. Like, he is seriously unfair. Like, jerkishly unfair.
I don't really like the
Which is not funny.
jelly patties in this episode, because SpongeBob moves in, you have to spend jelly to make them,
Yeah.
which I don't like.
Anyway, now this episode does have the problem of Mr. Krabs being a jerk, which I think did start some things that made them think that it's okay to mess around. Mr. Krabs being a jerk, but it's still a pretty great episode.
In the end, he's all like, I think I'd taken jelly off the menu.
Funny. Anyway, episode 39B, the Fry Cook Games. SpongeBob and Patrick will fight over who's a better fry cook. In fact, Chowder would recreate this episode about 7 years later in the Apprentice Games. The Apprentice Games! All of the apprentices fight. Oh, what? Oh. The Apprentice Games! Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. My favorite part is the end. It's just so sweet.
Really?
My least favorite part, though, is SpongeBob at the beginning. He's kind of bragging at Patrick.
My least favorite part is that this is like one of the best episodes ever, and it really should have been a half-hour special because it was SpongeBob and Patrick getting mad at each other. So this should have been a half-hour special.
Yeah, it should have been. Dude, you're making the video very long.
Well, you can cut stuff out.
Okay, so yeah, Plankton saying "win because I told you to" was pretty funny, and say this is a pretty great back and forth. Episode 48, Squid on Strike. Squidward and SpongeBob go on strike. In fact, this set was aired weirdly. Like, the set, Squid on Strike and Sandy, SpongeBob, and the Worm, like, it depends on which one you look on if this one is first. The description or on what order the episodes play in. But yeah. My favorite part is SpongeBob not against Squidward. He doesn't seem to be against Squidward. He seems like he genuinely wants to be, like, he just genuinely wants to be on the strike and get in. It's funny how Squidward's like, not a picket fence!
Not a picket fence, a picket fence.
My favorite part is Squidward, my least favorite part is Squidward losing. Why did he have to lose? I mean, Squidward has had all of his punishment, so why does he need to lose? It doesn't falter this otherwise pretty great episode. Anyway, episode 40B, Sandy, SpongeBob, and the Worm. Sandy and SpongeBob must defeat a worm. Fun fact, this is the last episode of SpongeBob Season 2. Well, depending on how you look at it. Favorite part is just that quote. It's big, hairy, and pink. So is Patrick's belly button. I'm recording a video. Anyway, yeah, my favorite part though is Patrick pushing the town. Like, why did that have to happen exactly? What was the relevance of it? Guess it is kind of funny though. Yeah, it's a pretty great episode, although it's probably one of the most boringly titled episodes of SpongeBob history.
Like grappling hook out of a string in a paper clip.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. It is pretty great. And a nice way to end off the season. Now let's look at the charts. As you can see, we have 25 greats, 4 goods, 5 okays, 1 bad, and 4 terribles. Now comparing it to season 1, this one is actually much better.
It has less goods.
Like, it has more goods, but less okays, so that's pretty good. It has less terribles in the first bad. So as you can see, it's leaning more toward it. So it's a great season. Although some of it got caught in the same colored thing. Anyway, now on to notes. On to notes. There are less terrible episodes. That's pretty noticeable.
Enough to fit in the bottom 5.
Yeah. Patrick is way less likable, though. I really do not like him in this season. And there's more memorable episodes.
There are like more episodes because technically there's one less, but the episodes are more memorable.
Right. Speaking of memorability, time for the... Come on! Why do I have such lousy stuff? Well, I guess now you know what number 1 is.
Whoa! What did I tell you about moving fast?
I did that on accident! Number 5. Number 5. Frankendoodle. This one is pretty memorable and pretty funny and a pretty nice way to begin the list. Number 4.
Jellyfish Hunter.
Jellyfish Hunter. Yeah, thanks. This one I really did find funny. Number 3. Merman Barnacle Boy 3. A nice twist on Merman and Barnacle Boy. Number 2, Robo Crabs or whatever it was called.
Imitation crabs.
Oh, yeah, Imitation Crabs. It's a pretty memorable and funny episode. And now time for the bottom 5. I left that one there on purpose. Number 5, Bubble Buddy. I really just want to pop him.
And it's the only bad episode.
Yeah, it's the only bad episode that you're probably going to see on their bottom 5s. Number 4, Grandma's Kisses. Just a pretty sad episode of SpongeBob being kissed by his grandmother and just having to be embarrassed by it. Also, this continues the theme from last season of having a picture from 2 seasons later being inside of it. Number 3, Gary Takes a Bath. This is just not funny. I did not like Gary winning in the end, and he is just so smug about it. Number 2, I'm with Stupid.
I like that.
I really do not like how much of a jerk Patrick is. That's why I renamed it I'm with Jerk. And number 1, Dumped. Now, just like last season, let's listen to what Page Rose had to say about it, because it's actually pretty interesting.
Episode, and it's just a good episode overall. Episode 29B, Dumped. SpongeBob gets jealous when Gary starts spending a lot of time with Patrick. Fun fact, Gary purrs like a cat, because Gary pretty much is a cat. Because snails are cats. SpongeBob is weird. Anyway, my favorite part is Gary playing with Patrick. But, should I dump this episode in with the good ones or the bad ones? Well, actually, it's gonna go with the meh episodes. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I really wanted to give this one a good episode moniker, but for the life of me, I couldn't really remember any jokes that were particularly funny. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad or anything. It's nice to watch. It's quite an interesting story, and there are a few gags that kinda work, I suppose, but nothing is really that funny. And compared to the other episodes in the season, wow, is this one just missing something?
Yeah, it's interesting how I rated a Matt episode. Because he's like the only other person that hates Dumped more than I was stupid that's not me. But that will end this video finally. Goodbye.